My chosen one, pause everything and hear me now. This is not a coincidence. This is not just another message scrolling past your eyes. Archangel Michael orders you to listen to this right now. You are going to hear huge, surprising news today, all because of your last act of faith. Yes, that quiet act no one saw. That silent prayer you whispered when you felt alone. That decision you made when you could have given up but didn't. He saw it. He recorded it. And heaven responded. Right now, as you are hearing these words, something is shifting in the spiritual atmosphere around your life. The delay you have been fighting, the confusion that has been circling your mind, the strange resistance that seemed to block every step forward. It is being reviewed and overturned. Because your last act of faith activated a heavenly response. You thought it was small. You thought it did not matter. You wondered if anyone in heaven even noticed. But Archangel Michael stands as a warrior of divine justice, and he is declaring that your obedience in that private moment became a public testimony in the spiritual realm. Listen carefully. There was a test. It was hidden inside an ordinary day. Nothing dramatic. Nothing loud. Just a simple choice. Trust or fear. Speak hope or complain. Give or hold back. Walk away. You chose faith. And that choice echoed louder than you realize. Right now, something that has been locked is preparing to open. Something that looked final is about to reverse. The surprising news you are about to hear will not come randomly. It will come as confirmation that your faith was not wasted. But before that news arrives, you must understand why this moment is different. For months, maybe even years, you have felt like you were standing in the background of your own life, watching others move ahead, watching doors open for others while yours stayed shut. You questioned yourself. You questioned timing. You even questioned whether heaven still had you on its radar. And yet you did not quit. That is what changed everything. Archangel Michael is not speaking to the crowd. This message is not for the doubters who walked away. It is for the one who stayed. The one who believed even while feeling tired. The one who said, I will trust one more day. That one more day became your breakthrough key. There is a spiritual principle that few understand. Heaven responds strongest when faith is exercised in silence. When no applause follows. When no one congratulates you. When it feels unnoticed. That is when angels are assigned. You may not have seen the battle, but there was opposition attempting to discourage you after that last act of faith. Subtle distractions. Sudden doubts. Strange delays. It was not random. It was resistance reacting to your obedience. But resistance failed. Archangel Michael stands as a defender over those who choose righteousness when it costs them something. And your faith cost you comfort. It cost you certainty. It cost you immediate results. Yet you gave it anyway. Now prepare yourself, because the surprising news coming toward you is not small. It will not be a tiny adjustment. It will be something that makes you step back and say, only God could have arranged this. It may come through a phone call. It may come through an unexpected message. It may come through a sudden opportunity that looks almost too perfect. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that it was connected to your obedience. There are spiritual accounts that track alignment. And when your heart aligned with faith instead of fear, a release was scheduled. The timing of that release is closer than you think. But here is the deeper revelation. The news itself is not the greatest reward. The greatest reward is that you have proven who you are becoming. Faithful. Steady. Chosen. Archangel Michael is declaring that your spiritual rank has shifted. You handled the test without knowing it was a test. That kind of integrity cannot be ignored. There are people around you who misjudged your quiet season. They assumed nothing was happening. They thought you were stuck. But heaven calls it preparation, and preparation always precedes promotion. Today, watch closely. Listen carefully. Pay attention to conversations, signs, and sudden alignments. Something will stand out. Something will feel different. It will carry confirmation energy, peace mixed with surprise. Do not dismiss it. Do not overthink it. Receive it. Because this is the ripple effect of your last act of faith. And one more thing. The enemy expected you to break before this moment arrived. That was a real plan. To make you quit right before the announcement. To exhaust you right before the blessing. But you are still here. Still believing. Still listening. And that is why this message found you. Archangel Michael does not waste words. When he orders attention, it means movement is already in progress. You are not waiting for something to start. It has already begun behind the scenes. The surprising news is not approaching slowly. It is accelerating. Stay aware today. Stay spiritually alert. And when it arrives, do not act shocked as if you were forgotten. You were being prepared. And this is only the beginning of what your faith has unlocked. Beloved warrior of faith, something is unfolding faster than you realize. What you felt after your last act of faith was not imagination. It was a shift. A subtle but undeniable shift. The atmosphere around you has been adjusting. Conversations have been rearranging. Decisions that involve your name are being influenced in rooms you have never entered. Archangel Michael is standing as a guardian over this transition. When a soul passes a test of faith, heaven does not respond casually. It responds strategically. And what is strategic is often quiet before it becomes visible. You may have noticed small signs already. A strange sense of calm where anxiety used to live. A feeling that something is about to happen, even if you cannot explain what it is. That inner knowing is not random. It is spiritual confirmation. But listen carefully, because this is important. Before huge, surprising news manifests physically, there is always a moment of tightening pressure. A final squeeze. A final attempt to make you doubt what you cannot yet see. If you have felt slightly restless, slightly stretched, even slightly challenged after your act of faith, it is not a setback. It is the final resistance losing ground. Archangel Michael is not only announcing good news, he is also shielding you from unseen interference. There were forces hoping you would speak negatively after your act of faith, hoping you would say nothing changed you, hoping you would cancel your own blessing with frustration. But you stayed measured. You stayed watchful. You stayed aligned. And that alignment is protecting the announcement that is for me. Now here is something you must understand deeply. The surprising news coming to you is connected to favor. Not ordinary favor, but earned favor. Favor that follows obedience. Favor that follows sacrifice. Favor that follows trust when evidence is absent. There is someone who will mention your name in a positive light very soon. You do not know when. You do not know how. But the momentum has already started. Doors do not just open, they are unlocked first. And yours has already been unlocked in the unseen realm. When it opens, it will look natural. It will look like coincidence. But you will remember this message and realize it was divine orchestration. Archangel Michael wants you steady, not frantic. Calm, not desperate. because the posture you hold now determines how you step into what is coming. Do not shrink when the news arrives. Do not say, "Why me?" Say, "I was prepared," because you were. There were nights you chose prayer instead of panic. There were moments you chose gratitude instead of complaint. Those small decisions build spiritual credibility, and credibility activates promotion. The surprising news may involve opportunity. It may involve restoration. It may involve recognition. But whatever form it takes, it will carry one unmistakable signature: timing that feels perfect. Heaven's timing rarely matches human expectation, but it always aligns with readiness. And you are ready. If this message is resonating in your spirit right now, if something inside you feels awakened, then do not stay silent about it. Let your agreement be known. Like this message so it reaches others who need confirmation. Share it with someone who has been standing in faith silently. Comment with what you have been believing for. When you engage, you are not just supporting a channel. You are amplifying a word that could be someone else's breakthrough. Subscribe and become part of this growing movement of faith. There is strength in spiritual unity. There is power when voices rise together in belief. And if you feel led, join the membership and stand even closer to this mission of spreading truth and courage. Your support keeps this fire burning. Now listen closely, because this is where it deepens. The news that is approaching will not only surprise you, it will validate you. It will silence inner doubts you have carried for too long. It will confirm that your last act of faith was seen, recorded, and rewarded. And here is the mystery. The act itself may have seemed unrelated to what is coming. That is how divine strategy works. Obedience in one area unlocks blessing in another. Seeds planted in one field produce harvest in a different field. You cannot always trace the connection, but heaven can. Archangel Michael is declaring acceleration. What was delayed is compressing. What was slow is gaining speed. You are entering a window where events align quickly, but remain grounded. Do not boast prematurely. Do not speak fearfully. Maintain the same humble faith that brought you here, because this moment is delicate, not fragile but sacred. The surprising news is not just about changing your circumstances. It is about changing your confidence. After it happens, you will never question whether your faith matters again. You will know. And once you know, you move differently. Something is about to confirm that you are not invisible. Something is about to prove that obedience carries weight. Hold steady. What is forming cannot be stopped now. And trust me, what is about to unfold next will make everything you endured make sense. Faithful soul, the moment you have been unknowingly preparing for is closer than your next breath. There is a sound in the spiritual realm when destiny shifts. It is not loud like thunder, yet it carries authority that cannot be ignored. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword not for battle against you, but for protection around you. What you are about to hear in the coming hours or days is not random information. It is divine confirmation that your last act of faith has crossed a threshold. You must understand something profound right now. When heaven releases surprising news as a reward for obedience, it is never just about the surface result. It is about repositioning. You are being repositioned into a higher alignment. The news will look like opportunity, but spiritually it is promotion. Think back to that act of faith. It required courage. It required you to trust without proof. It required you to move forward without applause. That moment became evidence in the courts of heaven that you are trustworthy with more. And now, the announcement that follows will feel almost sudden. You may hear it in a calm setting, or it may arrive unexpectedly in the middle of your routine. But when it comes, there will be a pause in your spirit, a stillness, a realization that something significant has just happened. Archangel Michael is instructing you not to downplay it. Do not treat it as luck. Do not treat it as coincidence. Receive it as confirmation. Because many around you will not understand the backstory. They will not see the tears you held back. They will not see the discipline it took to remain faithful. They will only see the result. But you will know the journey. The surprising news carries restoration energy. Where there was doubt, there will be clarity. Where there was limitation, there will be expansion. Where there was silence, there will be acknowledgement. This is not about ego. It is about validation from heaven. There were whispers in your mind that tried to convince you that your faith was naive, that you were hoping for too much, that nothing would change. Those whispers are about to be silenced by evidence. But here is what makes this sacred. Your response matters. Archangel Michael warns gently. When the news arrives, stay humble. Stay grateful. Stay centered. The blessing is not meant to inflate you. It is meant to strengthen you. You are stepping into a season where your confidence will be built not on emotion, but on testimony. There is also something else happening behind the scenes. Someone who once overlooked you will begin to see you differently. Someone who underestimated your quiet resilience will recognize your strength. The shift will not be dramatic, but it will be undeniable. Because when heaven promotes, perception changes. The reason this news is surprising is because it bypasses your logical expectations. You may have thought your breakthrough would come through one door. Instead, it will enter through another. You may have expected one person to deliver it. Instead, it will come through an unexpected channel. That is divine strategy. Archangel Michael operates in precision. Nothing about this is accidental. Your last act of faith created alignment. Alignment created authorization. Authorization now creates manifestation. Let this sink in deeply. You are not waiting anymore. You are witnessing. Even now, as you listen, timing is moving into place. Pieces are fitting together. Conversations are concluding. Decisions are finalizing. You cannot see it, but it is happening. And when it reaches you, there will be no confusion about its significance. This is why you were urged to listen carefully. This is why your spirit felt drawn here. Because this moment marks a turning point. Do not sabotage it with disbelief. Do not shrink back into old patterns of self-doubt. Stand firm in the identity you have earned through faith. Archangel Michael declares that what is coming will also open another door shortly after. The first news is confirmation. The second wave is acceleration. What begins as surprising will continue as progressive favor. But it all traces back to that one act of obedience. Heaven does not forget faith. Heaven multiplies it. Now prepare your heart. Make space mentally and spiritually. Release fear. Release overthinking. Release the need to control how it unfolds. You have already done your part. And as this shift manifests, remember that you are protected. Protected from sabotage. Protected from misalignment. Protected from premature exposure. Timing is being guarded carefully. This is not random good luck. This is earned spiritual response. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, if you feel confirmation rising inside you, then seal this moment with agreement. Type "I receive the confirmation" in the comments if this resonates deeply with you. Blessing code 3339 has just been activated over your path. Now hear this with clarity. When you sow into a word that feeds your spirit, you become part of its harvest. If this message has strengthened your faith and aligned your heart, then step into this moment as a divine participant. Scripture declares, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and this is not a distant verse. It is God speaking life over your obedience right now. When you release a super thanks or become a member, you are not supporting a platform. You are placing oil in a lamp that carries light to thousands who are still in darkness. When you give through PayPal using the link in the description, you are sowing into a river that carries hope across nations. This is your moment to say, I will be part of the harvest. Do not hesitate when heaven nudges you. Act as one who understands spiritual timing. Those who sow into revelation reap in acceleration. Those who fuel the fire receive warmth from its flame. I declare that every seed planted in faith will return to you multiplied in peace, clarity, and divine favor. Step into this alignment boldly. Release your seed now, and watch what God releases back into your life. Anointed listener, what is unfolding now is more intricate than you first imagined. The confirmation you are about to receive is only in the visible layer of a much deeper transformation. Archangel Michael is not merely announcing surprising news. He is overseeing a restructuring of your spiritual environment. What shifts around you in the natural world is simply the reflection of what has already shifted in the unseen. There was a spiritual review concerning your perseverance. Not to judge you, but to measure your readiness. Every delay you endured was not a denial, it was an evaluation. Could you remain steady without applause? Could you trust without immediate reward? Could you stay aligned when nothing appeared to move? You answered yes with your actions, and that answer carried authority. The news coming to you now will feel like a release of pressure, like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. You may even notice your body responding, shoulders relaxing, thoughts becoming clearer, hope rising without effort. That is because when divine timing activates, it brings peace with it. Archangel Michael is emphasizing something crucial in this hour. Do not look backward once this door opens. There were seasons when you revisited old conversations, replayed past disappointments, and wondered if you could have done something differently. But the news you are about to hear is not connected to regret. It is connected to redemption. Heaven does not promote you to revisit pain. It promotes you to outgrow it. Some of what you went through was necessary training. You learned discernment. You learned restraint. You learned the power of silence. Those lessons are about to become assets. The surprising news will place you in a position where those skills matter. You may also notice a shift in how others interact with you. Respect may increase. Attention may grow. Invitations may expand. Handle this transition carefully. The same humility that carried you through testing must carry you through recognition. Because promotion without humility leads to instability. Archangel Michael is guarding you not only from external interference but from internal imbalance. Success can be just as testing as struggle. Remain grounded in gratitude. Now there is another layer you must prepare for. The surprising news will challenge your self-perception. You may have quietly labeled yourself as still waiting or still trying. That identity is expiring. You are stepping into chosen, favored, and trusted. Identity shifts can feel uncomfortable at first. When you are used to striving, receiving can feel unfamiliar. When you are used to explaining yourself, being affirmed can feel strange. But allow it. Heaven is not confused about who you are. Archangel Michael is making it clear that this is not temporary momentum. It is a directional change. The path ahead will begin to feel smoother, not because life becomes effortless, but because resistance is no longer authorized to block you in the same way. The act of faith you performed created a spiritual boundary. Certain obstacles lost permission to follow you beyond that point. You crossed a line in the spirit, and not everything can cross with you. Pay attention to what begins to fall away naturally. Some connections may grow distant. Some habits may lose their appeal. Some fears may no longer feel convincing. That is not loss, that is elevation. And here is something powerful. The surprising news is only the first evidence. More confirmations will follow in sequence. One affirmation will lead to another. One opportunity will unlock the next. This is the beginning of a pattern. Do not rush the pattern. Allow it to unfold. Archangel Michael moves with precision, not chaos. What is being built in your life now is stable. It is not rushed excitement. It is sustainable blessing. If at any moment doubt tries to whisper, remember the chain of events. Remember the act of faith. Remember the confirmation. Remember the peace that followed. Build your confidence on what has already been proven, because what is coming next will require boldness. The surprising news may open a door that asks you to step forward publicly. It may require you to accept responsibility you once felt unready for. It may invite you into visibility you previously avoided. But you are not the same person you were months ago. Testing refined you. Waiting strengthened you. Obedience matured you. Archangel Michael is declaring that you are equipped. Not because you feel perfect, but because you have been prepared. There is also divine timing at play regarding your surroundings. Certain people will witness your shift and be inspired. Others may feel unsettled. Do not manage their reactions. Stay focused on your alignment. Your role is not to convince anyone of your growth. Your role is to walk in it. The surprising news will confirm your direction. After that, momentum will build. Conversations will become clearer. Decisions will feel easier. And the sense of stagnation that once weighed on you will dissolve. You are entering clarity. You are entering recognition. You are entering alignment. And Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this transition, ensuring that what has been authorized in heaven manifests fully on earth. Steady yourself. The next movement will require courage, but it will also carry joy. Steady heart. You are standing at the edge of visible transformation. What once felt distant is now approaching with undeniable clarity. The surprising news that Archangel Michael declared is no longer just forming behind the scenes. It is aligning with your present moment. You may sense it like electricity in the air, a quiet anticipation that something is about to shift permanently. This is the hour where patience meets manifestation. For a long time, you carried faith like a hidden flame, and no one applauded it. No one understood the private battles you fought in silence. There were mornings you woke up tired of hoping, yet you hoped anyway. There were nights you questioned the timing, yet you chose trust over frustration. That consistency has weight in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that your endurance builds spiritual authority. Authority is not given to those who demand it. It is entrusted to those who prove they can carry it. Your last act of faith was the final confirmation heaven needed to elevate you into this new phase. But understand this carefully. The surprising news is not random reward. It is strategic placement. You are being positioned in a way that aligns with your long-term purpose. What appears as sudden favor is actually the result of divine timing meeting personal readiness. If this had come earlier, you might have mishandled it. If it had come later, unnecessary delay would have burdened you. Now is the precise moment. There is something else unfolding quietly. Your confidence is being rebuilt from the inside out. Not the loud, temporary confidence that depends on praise, but deep, rooted assurance. The kind that remains steady even if applause fades. Archangel Michael is guarding this internal strengthening process, because the external shift is only sustainable if the internal foundation is solid. You may also begin noticing increased clarity in decision-making. Situations that once confused you will now feel obvious. Choices that once felt heavy will now feel simple. This is part of the blessing. Peace is one of the clearest signs that heaven is involved. And here's a deeper truth. What is coming will not only bless you, it will silence certain narratives spoken over you. There were labels placed on your life that were never accurate. Some thought you were behind. Some thought you were incapable. Some assumed your quiet season meant weakness. But the news that is approaching carries correction. It will correct misunderstandings. It will correct assumptions. It will correct internal doubts. Archangel Michael declares that you are stepping into divine evidence. Evidence that faith produces fruit. Evidence that obedience opens doors. Evidence that patience is never wasted. However, prepare your heart for adjustment. When life shifts upward, it requires adaptation. Old routines may not fit the new season. Old fears may not make sense anymore. Old insecurities may try one last time to cling to you. Release them. They do not belong where you are going. This is also a moment of spiritual maturity. The surprising news may tempt you to rush ahead emotionally, but remain balanced. Celebrate, yes. Rejoice, absolutely. But move thoughtfully. Favor must be stewarded wisely. Archangel Michael is not only delivering blessing, he is mentoring you into stability. There will be an opportunity to act once the news arrives. Do not hesitate in fear. Step forward with measured confidence. You have already proven your readiness through faith. Now you will prove it through action. Another revelation is unfolding even now. The act of faith you performed created ripple effects beyond your awareness. It inspired someone. It shifted someone's perception. It may have even protected you from an unseen setback. Faith never operates in isolation. Your obedience influenced more than you know. The surprising news is simply the visible portion of a much larger story. And that story continues to unfold with divine precision. If you feel a sense of urgency rising within you, do not mistake it for anxiety. It is anticipation. Anticipation is the soul's response to approaching fulfillment. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay watchful. Archangel Michael stands in assurance over your path. What hath been authorized cannot be reversed. What has been aligned cannot be scattered. What hath been promised cannot be withdrawn. You are entering a stretch of time where momentum builds naturally. Doors will not require force. Conversations will not require persuasion. Alignment will replace struggle. And when you look back on this period, you will realize something powerful. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared for precision. The surprising news is close enough to sense. The shift is close enough to feel. And the transformation is strong enough to last. Take a steady breath. Your faith has carried you here, and it will carry you even further. Brave soul, this is where the atmosphere begins to change in a way you can no longer ignore. You have crossed from waiting into witnessing. There is a difference. Waiting feels passive, uncertain, stretched thin. Witnessing feels alert, alive, aware that something tangible is unfolding. Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to this distinction because your posture must shift with your season. You are no longer bracing for disappointment. You are preparing for confirmation. The surprising news that was declared over you is now weaving itself into your daily reality. You may notice subtle signs, an unexpected call, a delayed response suddenly turning favorable, a door that once resisted now opening without struggle. These are not random improvements. They are indicators of divine alignment moving forward. But with movement comes responsibility. Archangel Michael is instructing you to guard your words carefully in this phase. Speak as someone who expects good news, not as someone who fears loss. Your language shapes your environment more than you realize. When you speak doubt, you invite hesitation. When you speak expectation, you invite acceleration. There is power in agreement. Agree with what heaven has declared over your life. The last act of faith you performed did not simply unlock blessing, it recalibrated your spiritual authority. You are operating from a higher frequency of trust now, and because of that, opportunities will recognize you differently. Do not shrink when new possibilities present themselves. It may feel unfamiliar at first, even intimidating. You might think, am I truly ready for this? That question is natural, but the answer has already been proven. Your obedience prepared you. Archangel Michael is not sending you into something that will overwhelm you. He is guiding you into something that will stretch you. Stretching builds capacity. Capacity sustains growth. At this point, some of you may already be sensing the beginning of the announcement. A hint of good news. A whisper of change. Do not dismiss it if it seems small. Major shifts often begin quietly. Here is something critical. Do not isolate yourself during this time. Share your faith journey. Speak life into others who are still in their waiting season. When you testify about what God is doing, you strengthen your own blessing. If this message has been confirming what you have been feeling, let your agreement be visible. Like this video so it can reach someone standing at the edge of giving up. Share it with someone whose faith needs to be reignited. Write in the comments what you are expecting God to do in your life. When you engage, you amplify the spiritual momentum not just for yourself, but for others connected to you. Subscribe if you have not already, because this is not just a message, it is a movement of alignment and awakening. Join the membership if you feel called to stand closer to this mission. There is strength when we move together in unity. And trust this, what is about to unfold next will deepen your understanding even further. Now, return your focus inward. Archangel Michael is highlighting the importance of discernment. Not every voice around you deserves access to your excitement. Not every person needs full details of what is forming. Protect the seed while it is still growing. Once it becomes visible, it will speak for itself. The surprising news will likely require a decision from you. It may involve stepping into something new, accepting responsibility, or embracing a role you once doubted. This is not the time to hesitate in fear. It is the time to respond in faith, just as you did before. Remember how your last act of faith felt risky. Remember how uncertain it seemed. And yet it unlocked this moment. The next step will feel similar. Growth always requires courage. There is also a spiritual acceleration happening now. What once took months to shift may now change in days. Conversations that once stalled may suddenly resolve. Barriers that once seemed permanent may dissolve with surprising ease. This is not luck. This is authorization. Archangel Michael stands as witness that the battle over your progress hath been resolved. You are not fighting for breakthrough anymore. You are walking into it. However, remain grounded in gratitude. Gratitude stabilizes favor. It keeps your heart aligned and your perspective clear. Each small confirmation you receive, Acknowledge it. Each sign of movement, give thanks for it. Because there may also be moments where disbelief tries to creep in. You may think, is this really happening? When that thought arises, replace it immediately with agreement. Say, yes, this is the fruit of my faith. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is alignment with truth. The surprising news is no longer a distant possibility. It is a developing reality. And once it fully lands in your hands, you will understand why the timing had to be exact. Stay attentive. Stay aligned. Stay courageous. Because what unfolds next will require you to step forward boldly, and you will be grateful that you remained steady long enough to see it happen. Chosen vessel, you are now entering the visible edge of fulfillment. What once felt prophetic is becoming practical. What once sounded like distant promise is now forming into measurable reality. Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of this moment, not to create suspense, but to ensure that you cross into it with clarity and strength. The surprising news that has been building around you is not only about opportunity, it is about vindication. There were silent battles you fought that no one applauded. There were private tears you wiped away without anyone knowing the weight you carried. You questioned yourself more than once. You wondered if your faith was excessive, if your patience was misplaced. But heaven was watching. And now, what is unfolding carries the tone of divine response. You may begin to notice that your environment feels lighter. Certain tensions that once surrounded you are easing. Conversations that used to feel heavy now flow more naturally. Even your thoughts may seem more organized, less chaotic. This is not accidental. When spiritual resistance breaks, mental clarity increases. Archangel Michael has been guarding your mind carefully in this season. Because the mind is where discouragement tries to settle first. If it can occupy your thoughts, it attempts to weaken your posture. But your last act of faith disrupted that strategy. You chose belief over breakdown, and the choice altered the trajectory. Now, as the surprising news draws nearer, there is a recalibration happening in your confidence. You are starting to trust your instincts again. You are beginning to sense that your intuition is aligned with something greater. That alignment is preparation for leadership. Yes, leadership. Not necessarily in a public spotlight, but in influence. Influence within your family, your work, your circle. When faith is tested and proven, it produces quiet authority. Others begin to look to you differently, even if they cannot explain why. Because stability attracts trust. The news that is approaching may also restore something you thought was permanently lost. It could be an opportunity that returns in improved form. It could be a conversation that resolves in your favor. It could be recognition that arrives after long delay. Restoration does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it feels simple, yet powerful. A door reopens. A decision reverses. A path clears. And when it happens, you will sense that this is not mere chance. Archangel Michael is emphasizing gratitude again, but this time at a deeper level. Gratitude not only for the result, but for the process. For the waiting that strengthened you. For the silence that refined you. For the uncertainty that deepened your trust. Because without the process, the promotion would lack depth. There is something else you must prepare for. Your expansion may challenge others who are still shrinking. Not everyone will understand your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your breakthrough. Some may even question how it happened so suddenly. Do not defend it aggressively. Let the fruit speak. When heaven elevates you, it does so with evidence. You will not need to convince anyone of your shift. The consistency of your character combined with the clarity of your results will be enough. The surprising news may also carry responsibility. It may require discipline, focus, or new habits. Favor opens doors, but stewardship keeps them open. Archangel Michael is guiding you not only into blessing, but into sustainability. This is not a temporary surge. This is a structural upgrade. You may also feel an inner call to step away from old limitations. Perhaps you once minimized your dreams to avoid disappointment. Perhaps you lowered expectations to protect yourself. That protective posture is no longer necessary. You have crossed a threshold. Faith has proven itself reliable in your life. Now boldness must rise. The announcement that is coming will confirm that you are capable of more than you imagined. It will challenge your old identity. It will stretch your vision. And it will invite you to walk at a higher level of confidence. Archangel Michael stands as guardian of this transition. He is not only ensuring that the blessing reaches you, he is ensuring that you are ready to carry it. Pause for a moment and reflect on how far you have come. Compare your current strength to the version of you that first faced this trial. Notice the difference. You are calmer. You are wiser. You are less reactive. That is growth. And growth attracts elevation. The surprising news is now close enough that you may feel its presence before you hear its details. A subtle anticipation. A quiet excitement. Do not suppress it. Let hope rise freely. You are not naive for believing. You are aligned. And as this next chapter begins to open, you will finally understand why the delay was necessary. Timing had to synchronize with maturity. Now it has. Stand tall in this moment. What is unfolding is not fragile. It is ordained, and you are ready to receive it fully. Steadfast one, what you are about to witness will feel like a line being drawn between your old season and your new one. The air around your life is shifting with authority. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your breakthrough, he is announcing the closure of a chapter that tested you beyond what others could see. The surprising news that has been forming is no longer distant. It is aligning with your reality, and when it lands, it will divide your timeline into before and after. Before the act of faith. After the act of faith. You must recognize how powerful that distinction is. There was a version of you who hesitated, who overthought, who feared making the wrong move. But when you chose obedience in that critical moment, you stepped into a higher alignment. You did not feel powerful at the time. You may have even felt uncertain. Yet that decision carried spiritual weight. Now the result of that weight is about to surface. There is something important unfolding beneath the visible layer of events. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your spiritual covering. When favor increases, attention increases. Not all attention is harmful, but wisdom is required. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Not everyone deserves access to the details of your breakthrough while it is still fresh. The surprising news may cause excitement around you. It may cause people to look at you differently. But stay centered. The blessing is not meant to distract you. It is meant to advance you. You are stepping into a season where acceleration becomes normal. What used to feel delayed will now feel timely. What once required effort will begin to flow with less resistance. That does not mean you will never face challenges again. It means the opposition no longer has authority to stall your progress the way it once did. This is victory earned through perseverance. Archangel Michael is declaring that the spiritual battle surrounding your advancement hath been settled. The verdict has been released in your favor. What you are about to hear will confirm that the atmosphere around your life has shifted permanently. Some of you will receive news connected to career or opportunity. Others will receive restoration in relationships or clarity and direction. For some, it will be financial improvement. For others, it will be recognition or validation long overdue. The form may differ, but the root is the same: reward for faithful obedience. You may even feel emotional when it happens. Not because you doubted completely, but because you endured quietly. Endurance leaves marks on the soul. When breakthrough comes, those marks turn into testimony. And here is the deeper revelation. This breakthrough is not only for you. It is generational. The confidence you gain will influence those connected to you. Your courage will inspire someone who once felt stuck. Your testimony will become permission for someone else to believe again. That is why your act of faith mattered so much. Archangel Michael never mobilizes without purpose. Your obedience activated protection, alignment, and now manifestation. The chain is complete. But do not stop here. This is where maturity becomes essential. Continue the habits that strengthen you in the waiting season. Continue the prayer. Continue the gratitude. Continue the discipline. The same posture that unlocked this blessing will sustain the next one. And there will be more. The surprising news is not the end of your story. It is the confirmation that your path is clear for expansion. If this message is aligning deeply within you, if you feel the shift already stirring in your life, seal it with agreement now. Type "I step into my NEW season" in the comments as a declaration of alignment. Blessing code 8181 is now released over your transition. And now hear this carefully. When a word like this strengthens your spirit and confirms your season, it is not by accident. Light must be fueled to continue shining. If this message has ignited hope inside you, become part of the mission that carries this light to others who are still in darkness. Scripture declares that when you sow generously, you reap generously, and this is not symbolic. It is a living principle speaking directly to your moment. When you release a super thanks or step into membership, you are not simply giving to a channel. You are sowing into soil that produces faith across nations. When you give through PayPal using the link in the description, you become part of a river that carries encouragement to souls who are on the verge of quitting. This is your opportunity to act as one who understands divine timing. Do not delay when your spirit is stirred. Those who invest in the spreading of truth will never lack provision. I declare that every seed you release in obedience will return to you multiplied in favor, protection, and unexpected increase. Step forward with boldness. Activate your giving now, and watch how heaven responds to your generosity. Faithful one, you are no longer approaching the breakthrough. You are standing inside its unfolding. There is a quiet difference in your atmosphere now. What once felt uncertain has begun to feel structured. What once felt like hope is becoming evidence. Archangel Michael is present in this transition, not as a distant observer, but as a guardian ensuring that what has been authorized over your life manifests without distortion. The surprising news you were told about is either arriving now or positioning itself so close that you can almost sense its weight. Some of you have already received a glimpse, an encouraging message, an unexpected approval, a shift in someone's attitude toward you. Others are hours or days away from hearing words that will alter your outlook permanently. This is not exaggeration. This is alignment reaching completion. You must understand something powerful at this stage. Breakthrough does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly, wrapped in normalcy, disguised as an ordinary conversation. But the impact will be undeniable. You will feel it in your spirit before you fully process it in your mind. Archangel Michael is urging you to remain spiritually alert. Do not let routine dull your awareness. Pay attention to details. The confirmation you have been waiting for may come in a subtle form, but its implications will be significant. There is also a restoration of confidence happening within you that may surprise you. You are beginning to trust your path again. The hesitation that once slowed your steps is fading. You no longer feel like you are guessing your way through life. There is direction forming, steady and clear. That clarity is part of the blessing. Because what good is opportunity without direction? The surprising news will not confuse you. It will align with something you have felt deep down but were afraid to fully embrace. It will confirm what your intuition has been whispering for weeks. And when it does, there will be a moment of realization. You will think back to your last act of faith and understand how directly connected it was to this outcome. The connection may not have made sense before, but now it will feel obvious. Obedience always links to reward. Archangel Michael is also highlighting your emotional resilience. You are not reacting impulsively anymore. You are responding with wisdom. The waiting season refined your reactions. Where you once might have panicked, you now pause. Where you once might have doubted immediately, you now observe calmly. That growth prepared you for this exact elevation. However, with elevation comes visibility. Be mindful of who you share your plans with as this unfolds. Not everyone can handle your expansion. Some will celebrate sincerely. Others may feel challenged by your progress. Protect your peace without becoming defensive. You are not responsible for managing other people's comfort with your growth. You are responsible for walking in alignment. The surprising news may also require swift action. An opportunity might have a time limit. A conversation may need a decisive response. Do not hesitate out of old fear. The same courage that carried you through uncertainty will carry you through opportunity. Archangel Michael stands as assurance that you are not stepping forward alone. Protection surrounds your decisions. Guidance accompanies your steps. Even if you feel nervous, you are supported. There is also a ripple effect to consider. The blessing reaching you will inspire someone watching quietly. They may not speak it aloud, but your perseverance will give them permission to believe again. That is part of your assignment. Your testimony is not only for celebration, it is for activation in others. As this chapter unfolds, remain anchored in gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart soft and your perspective clear. It reminds you that nothing is self-made. Everything is grace meeting effort. You have entered a momentum phase now. Events will begin connecting more smoothly. Conversations will align faster. Decisions that once lingered will resolve. This acceleration is not chaotic. It is ordered. The resistance that once surrounded you has lost authority. You are moving freely. And here is the deeper truth. This breakthrough is not the final destination. It is the foundation for something greater. Archangel Michael is preparing you for sustained elevation, not temporary excitement. The surprising news is simply the doorway. What lies beyond it will require faith again. But now your faith has evidence behind it. You will never return to the level of doubt you once battled. Experience has replaced speculation. Stand steady in this unfolding. You are not dreaming. You are not imagining momentum. You are witnessing the reward of obedience. And what is still forming ahead will confirm that this shift was only the beginning of a much larger expansion. Determined soul, you can feel it now, can't you? The shift is no longer theoretical. It is tangible. The atmosphere around your life has changed, and even the way you wake up in the morning feels different. There is expectation instead of heaviness. There is clarity instead of confusion. Archangel Michael is standing watch over this phase, ensuring that what has been released over you continues to unfold without interruption. The surprising news that was declared at the beginning of this message is either in your hands or at your doorstep. For some of you, it arrived as confirmation in words you never thought you would hear. For others, it came as an opportunity you once prayed for but stopped expecting. And for a few, it is still hours away, aligning perfectly with divine timing. But here is what matters most now: how you carry it. Breakthrough is not just about receiving, it is about sustaining. The same faith that unlocked this shift must now anchor you in wisdom. Archangel Michael is emphasizing discipline in this new season. Do not allow excitement to override discernment. Do not allow momentum to make you careless. Favor flows best through those who remain grounded. You may notice that certain people who once overlooked you are now paying attention. Doors that once seemed sealed are now opening with minimal effort. The resistance that drained your energy is no longer pressing against you the same way. This is not imagination. It is evidence that the spiritual verdict over your life has shifted. However, elevation always invites new levels of responsibility. You are being trusted with more influence, more visibility, more access. Handle it with humility. Remember the nights you felt uncertain. Remember the prayers you whispered when no one was listening. Let those memories keep your heart balanced. Archangel Michael did not fight for your breakthrough so that you could become distracted by pride. He stood guard so you could step into purpose. And purpose requires focus. Here is also another layer unfolding now. The surprising news is not isolated. It is connected to a chain reaction. One open door will lead to another. One restored connection will open space for a greater one. One answered prayer will spark the courage to pray bigger. This is expansion in motion. But stay alert. Not everything that glitters in this new season is meant for you. Just because doors are opening does not mean you must walk through all of them. Discernment is still necessary. Ask for guidance before making major decisions. Peace will be your confirmation. If this message has walked with you from the beginning, if you have felt each shift described here aligning with your own experience, then do not keep it to yourself. Like this message so it can reach someone standing at the edge of breakthrough. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their last act of faith was not wasted. Write in the comments what surprising news you are believing for or what confirmation you have already received. Subscribe if you have not yet, because this journey does not end here. There are deeper revelations still ahead. Join the membership if you feel called to stand more closely in this mission of spreading courage and alignment. And stay with this message carefully, because what is about to be revealed next will bring everything together in a way you did not expect. And I'll return your attention inward. Archangel Michael is highlighting your growth. You are not reacting from fear anymore. You are responding from stability. The waiting season refined you so thoroughly that now, even in success, you remain measured. That is maturity. And maturity sustains blessing. The surprising news may have felt like a sudden shift, but in truth, it was built slowly through obedience. Never forget that, Hennetian. Whenever you face another uncertain moment in the future, remember this season. Remember how faith produced evidence. Because it will again. You are entering a rhythm now where alignment feels natural. The anxiety that once clouded your judgment is fading. You are thinking clearly. You are speaking confidently. You are walking differently. Others can sense it. And while some may ask how it happened, you will know the truth. It began with a simple act of faith when quitting would have been easier. Archangel Michael is declaring that this is not the peak of your story. It is the platform. From here, new levels of clarity, influence, and provision will build steadily. Remain anchored. Remain grateful. Remain courageous. The surprising news with the spark. What comes next will be the flame. Resilient heart, you are standing in the evidence of what faith can accomplish. Take a moment and truly absorb that. Not theoretically, not spiritually in the abstract, practically, tangibly. The surprising news that was spoken over your life has either fully manifested or is unfolding in a way that can no longer be denied. Archangel Michael has not only guarded this promise, he has escorted it into your reality. But this is the moment many misunderstand. Breakthrough is not the conclusion of faith. It is the expansion of it. Now that you have seen what obedience can unlock, heaven will begin stretching your vision. What once seemed impossible now feels attainable. What once felt distant now feels within reach. This is how growth accelerates. Experience replaces doubt. You are no longer operating from hope alone. You are operating from testimony. There is a strength in you now that did not exist before this season. It is quiet but powerful. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. Even the way you think about your future has changed. Fear no longer dominates your imagination. Possibility does. Archangel Michael is emphasizing stewardship in this hour. Guard what hath been given. Nurture it. Protect it from negativity and from your own overthinking. Sometimes, after breakthrough, the mind tries to create new worries. It asks, what if this doesn't last? That is the echo of your old season trying to survive. Do not entertain it. What God establishes through obedience is not fragile. You may also notice that people around you are responding differently. Some are inspired. Some are curious. Some are skeptical. Let them observe. You do not need to defend your blessing. The fruit will speak over time. What matters most is your internal alignment. The surprising news was not just about changing your circumstances. It was about changing your self-perception. You are no longer the one waiting for validation. You are the one walking in it. And here is the deeper layer. This elevation is preparing you for responsibility beyond yourself. Archangel Michael is positioning you as a stabilizing force in your environment. Others will come to you for clarity. Others will seek your perspective. Your endurance has built credibility. Do not take that lightly. When heaven allows you to influence others, it is because you have been refined through pressure. Pressure produces authenticity, and authenticity attracts trust. There is also a sense of momentum continuing to build. The first surprising news opened a door, but now you are beginning to see additional pathways connected to it. New ideas, new conversations, new possibilities. This is not coincidence. This is compounding favor. The act of faith that started this chain reaction continues to echo. One decision aligned you with a different timeline, and now the timeline is unfolding steadily. However, remain grounded in daily discipline. Success is sustained through consistency. Continue the habits that strengthen you when you were uncertain. Continue the prayer, the gratitude, the self-control. These are not seasonal tools. They are lifelong anchors. Archangel Michael is not stepping away now that you have seen victory. He remains present as guardian and guide. But your confidence must grow as well. You cannot remain in the mindset of someone who is barely surviving. You are thriving now. Adjust your expectations accordingly. There may still be challenges ahead. Elevation does not remove all obstacles. But the difference is this. You now have proof that obstacles can be overcome. You no longer approach difficulty with dread. You approach it with strategy. Because you have learned something invaluable. Faith works. The surprising news was your confirmation. But the greater gift is the transformation inside you. You are calm. You are clear. You are stronger. And you are less afraid of the unknown. That is true promotion. As you move forward, begin envisioning what is possible beyond this moment. Do not limit yourself to maintaining what you have received. Ask for expansion. Ask for wisdom. Ask for alignment in every area of your life. You have stepped into a rhythm of responsiveness with heaven. When you act in faith, doors respond. When you trust, alignment follows. That pattern will continue. Archangel Michael is declaring stability over your next steps. What is being built now will not collapse under pressure. It hath been tested already. Stand confidently in what has been established. The surprising news was not hype. It was destiny intersecting with obedience. And what unfolds from here will carry even greater depth, because now you walk with experience instead of uncertainty. Hold your head high. You have crossed the threshold, and the best is still unfolding ahead of you. Victorious one. This is the completion of a cycle and the ignition of another. Look at how far you have come. From uncertainty to confirmation. From silent faith to visible favor. From questioning to knowing. The words spoken at the beginning were not grammatic exaggeration. They were prophetic alignment. Archangel Michael ordered you to listen because heaven had already decided to move. And now you stand on the other side of obedience. The surprising news that was promised did not come by accident. It came because you acted when fear suggested hesitation. It came because you trusted when evidence was missing. It came because you chose faith one more time when quitting would have been easier. That single act shifted everything. But here is the sacred truth about this moment. The news was never the greatest miracle. You were. The transformation inside you is the real victory. You do not think the same way anymore. You do not panic the same way anymore. You do not doubt yourself the same way anymore. Something inside you matured through the waiting, and when the breakthrough arrived, it found you ready. Archangel Michael stands as witness that you passed a spiritual threshold. The test was subtle, but the reward was substantial. And because you handled this level faithfully, greater trust is being placed upon you. You are no longer the version of yourself who hopes timidly. You are the one who expects confidently. This is where many people become complacent. They receive confirmation and relax into comfort. But you are being called higher. The same courage that unlocked this season must now fuel your next decision. There are new territories ahead. New prayers forming in your spirit. New ideas rising in your mind. Do not suppress them. The God who responded to your last act of faith is ready to respond again. Archangel Michael is not withdrawing protection. He's increasing responsibility. Because growth does not plateau, it expands. Remember this clearly. Every time you acted in faith, something shifted beyond what you could see. Every time you chose integrity, something aligned behind the scenes. Every time you resisted fear, something accelerated. Faith is never wasted, and now you carry proof. Let this season mark you permanently. Let it redefine how you approach uncertainty in the future. When challenges arise again, and they will, you will not crumble the way you once might have. You will remember this chapter. You will remember how obedience unlocked what doubt could not. That memory will anchor you. Archangel Michael declares stability over your path. What has begun will not collapse. What has opened will not easily close. What hath been restored will not be easily stolen. Walk forward boldly. Speak with authority. Act with alignment. because this was not a random moment of good news. It was a divine announcement tied directly to your faith. And now, seal this chapter with declaration. Type "my faith" and lock this in the comments if you receive this truth fully. Blessing code 9090 is now activated over your next season. Now listen carefully, because this is sacred. If this message carried you from uncertainty to clarity, from doubt to expectation, then you are not here by accident. Light like this must be sustained. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." And this is not history. It is God speaking into your present obedience. When you release a super thanks, when you become a member, when you sow through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a trumpet that calls souls back to faith. You are placing oil in the lamp that keeps this fire burning for someone who is one prayer away from giving up. This is your moment to respond, not casually, but prophetically. If this message strengthened you, then step into alignment through action. Sow as one who understands spiritual harvest. Give as one who expects increase. I declare that every seed you release into this mission will return to you multiplied in provision, protection, and divine acceleration. Act now. Participate in what heaven is doing, and watch how boldly God responds to your obedience.